Anyway, we're on the line with me is Bill Koenig from our nation's capital. He is a White House correspondent. He's been our Understanding the Times speaker 4 of our conferences in the past year, including last year. And just a quick reminder, too, that, folks, this is a listener-supported radio program. And I can tell you the radio industry is hurting today. So please consider supporting your favorite radio programs and remember us both prayerfully and financially. And if you'd like to get our free print newsletter, Understanding the Times, it is free along with, if you're in the U.S., not in our database, the free DVD, The Privileged Planet. 763-493-3010, 763-493-3010. Leave your name and address on the voicemail, or you can contact us Monday through Friday. Again, I'll be back in just a few minutes and be rejoined by Bill Koenig.
A reminder to Radio Archive listeners and podcasters that the Understanding the Times radio show is totally listener-supported. We air on several radio stations, which allows us to bring our programming to you. Would you consider a tax-deductible donation to Olive Tree Ministries for the radio outreach? You can send a check to Box 1452, Maple Grove, Minnesota, 55311. That's Box 1452, Maple Grove, Minnesota, 55311. You can also donate and order safely online at olivetreeviews.org or call 763-493-3010. And thanks for partnering with this ministry committed to helping you understand the times and contend for the faith.
Welcome back to Jan Markell's Understanding the Times. Here's Jan Markell.
Welcome to part 2 of this hour. We're spending the entire 2 hours talking to White House correspondent Bill Koenig. And I opened up a half an hour ago by saying that he has written in his last week's Koenig's Eye View from the White House, sign up at his website, watch.org, that he is anticipating earth-shaking events in this coming year. Particularly in America, but let's not limit it to America because God is dealing with the entire world. And I'll just quick throw in an announcement or two, and then we'll move back to our discussion and get Bill's take on the management by crisis issue that I played, that clip. And I realize that some of you listening are getting this in some outlets, half-hour segments, or just 1 hour if you want the entire 2 hours. I encourage you to visit my radio archives at my website, olivetreeviews.org, olivetreeviews.org. And again, radio archives. And the weekend programming is posted late Monday of every week. So that's where you can catch all of the program, bad reception, whatever your issue is. And if you'd like to become a CD subscriber and just conveniently get a couple of CDs a week for $30 a month, and then you can pass them on to friends and family who need to hear some of this information. Consider doing that. Again, just call my office, 763-493-3010. And if you can't possibly get through for some reason, then again, you can deal with that business hours Monday through Friday. Bill Koenig, again, let's go back to the clip that I played by, happened to be Hal Lindsey from his television program, Management by Crisis, the philosophy that comes from George Hegel, and then students of Karl Marx picked up on it and called it Management by Crisis, gave it sort of the term, and it became the centerpiece of communism. So what do we make of this?
Well, I think Hal did an excellent job of deciphering that and then also articulated it to the point of giving it for us to understand today, just the parallels to what Hegel preached and taught to what is happening today. We can go back to September of last year when Paulson, the Treasury Secretary, and President Bush and the Fed Chairman Bernanke said that we have got to do something now. We can't put this off any longer. They passed a $700 billion stimulus plan to make sure the U.S. financial system didn't melt down. And as we've seen even this week, a lot of that stimulus, the $170 billion that went to AIG, went to them, and it went to Goldman Sachs. Paulson's former firm received $13 billion. Major U.S. banks, Chase, Bank of America, and many others. So this bailout basically was helping AIG not default on these massive amount of credit default losses that they had, that they were obligated to pay to U.S. banks, Wall Street firms, and foreign banks. So we are basically picking up the tab, the American taxpayer, for this casino mentality on Wall Street and for the risky and precarious lending of our U.S. banks. But what happened here is they created and exaggerated this chaos. Obviously, it was extremely important, but you know, it would better, and there was a lot of Republicans and conservatives said, let them fail, let them go into bankruptcy, let them fail,
right.
Let's cleanse and purge the system,
That's
and
right.
let's start from scratch. Instead, Jan, we have $700 billion of additional obligations for all of us to pay, and that's just the beginning.
Well, as we speak, Bill, $2 trillion are being printed, apparently by the Federal Reserve. $2 trillion being printed.
It's actually now, as of this week, Jan, it's going to be up to $3.2 trillion. They're adding $1.2 trillion to that level.
That's money being printed.
That's correct. They're going to make that available. It was $700 billion in September. Now it was $2 trillion, and then as of last week, it's $3.2 trillion, and they won't tell people where the $2 trillion went.
Okay. All right. Let's move on in the interest of time, because we need to get to some other parts of the world. But I'm not through with this economic issue, too. And Heidi, you want to weigh in with anything, please feel free to do so. But here's I think the bottom line issue and question in all of this, and we're talking about management by crisis. I think one of the issues is the administration, I mean, they seem to, I don't want to say care less, because that wouldn't be fair, but they seem to not take a real serious interest in what's happening. And the president makes some remarks that are just a little bit strange to understand, because these remarks seem to be a little bit apathetic. And it almost begs the question, is this lack of perception, is this because he thinks maybe that what's happening will serve his ultimate purpose?
Yeah, I think you're right, Jan. I really sensed that the last couple of weeks. I've been around a lot of stressful environments when I was in business myself back during the 80s and 90s in commercial real estate. And I've been around a lot of stressful situations that President Bush faced with 9/11, Katrina, and other major things that he had to face with, as well as the financial tumble right before he left office. And I was around those guys, and I know how serious those guys took things. And you could see it in their face, you could hear it in their words, in their press conferences, or in the words of their press secretaries. And I literally, and you made a great point there, very discerning, that over the last couple of weeks, I haven't really felt a lot of this stress. I know he's the new president's very laid back and pretty calm and casual, but I just didn't sense the tension and stress. You certainly didn't see it on his program with Jay Leno the other night, one of the worst weeks we've had in U.S. financial history. And I certainly didn't hear it in the voice of his press secretary the last couple of days. I did kind of feel his press secretary is pretty exhausted, because I think he understands the reality of what's happening and what's coming. But nonetheless, I didn't feel this need to do something quickly. But then again, it plays, and like you said, this could very well play into their agenda.
Yeah.
My great concern, Jan, is the fact that we've slapped $700 billion stimulus plan. We've got another we've got $750 or $60 billion stimulus plan. We have a $700 billion TARP plan. We have a $3.6 trillion budget that's about to be discussed.